All right, what's up, everybody? Check, check, 1, 2. How am I coming through? Hopefully, 5 by 5. Looks like everything should be working properly. But it's great to be back with you on this Wednesday afternoon, halfway through the week, for another broadcast here on 412 Productions. As always, like to start off by saying hi to our friends. So pop into chat wherever you're watching, and we'll throw some shout outs around here before we officially start at the top of the 4 o'clock hour. QOIs, good to see you holding it down over there on D Live. Joe Elaine modding our chats over on Rumble and Pill.net. Thank you, Joe. If you're watching on Rumble, as you file on in, please hit that thumbs up button for us and share the link. If you're on Pilled, and that's where I hope you guys are hanging out, please hit that red pill button and repost the show as you get nice and comfy over there. Who's all over there? Let's see. HL Paco, good to see you. Curious One, Lyle, Jenny, Packers 412, love you guys. Good to see you. Patriot 714. There's Delia down in Arizona. Good to see all of our early birds. Hey, there's Floyd, Due Diligence, my brother. What's up, man? D. Richard, good to see you. Lance, Lightsphere, welcome. There's Joe doing her mod thing. Thank you, Joe. And so many other friends. Truth Teller 101, what's going on? We got the Wagyu Wednesday cookie from Floyd. He's kicking off our gold pills today. Thank you so much, Floyd, for always supporting the show. Space Cookie, it's great to see you. Ken, Chris, and Barb Robbins, good afternoon, you guys. Our Harold in the house as well. Let's see, everyone throwing their Craig Mason stickers up there. I love to see it. What's up, Range Pony? Good to see you out there. Steve B checking in. Always a pleasure, Steve. What's up, Laddick, over on Rumble? I see you sneaking in there as well. Denmom EO, welcome. Laura Y repping the 412. Let's go. We got Mr. Gerardo. Good afternoon, sir. How are you today? Mikey Baseball, welcome. Don Ritchie, 1776. Oh, we upgrade the screen name there, Don. And Qhio 17, welcome. Welcome. All right. Who else? Ruby 317. Good to see you. Pat McFly, Glass Wanda out there. Joshua Tree 321. Did I steal my shirt from Red Pill? No, I did not. It's pretty funny though. Now Red Pill shirts are on a different level. Like this would be his his dust rag pile compared to those badass shirts that he has. Eagle Freedom, Kimha, my two terriers out there. Monkey Toes 71, Dave 75. What's up, all you guys? Welcome. Team Visine in the house as well. And I see we're at the top of the 4 o'clock hour, so let's officially get this underway. I see Tivelius and Brian 1871 hooking us up with a cookie. Thank you. Good to see you, Cynthia, as well. All right, so there we go. We're going to go ahead and play the intro. We'll be back in a few minutes to officially start today's show. Boys Blancs, I like your shirt. Good color for you. Thank you. Timar, good to see you. KG, welcome. Spirit554, much love, you guys. Thanks again for spending some of your Wednesday afternoon with me here. Let's get this show officially underway. We'll be right back.
We will make America strong again. We will make America wealthy again. We will make America proud again. We will make America safe again. And yes, together, we will make America great again.
Y'all for tuning in, Patriots United, doing what we gotta do to win. Be addicted, the MS7, now we're moving in. And once we take over, we won't ever move again. Where we go on, we go all, I say it with pride. No, we won't run, we won't fall, we're right by your side. The demons have taken hold, but none of us will abide. Stand strong and stand bold, that's how we'll survive. 412 is the production, Monday through Friday, deplorable discussions. We're making it hard for the Tuesday to function. Every time they switch up the narrative, we debunk it. Adult hero is the power that's controlling the plight. With all you patriots behind them, cause we're all in this fight. So many rhyme for so long, but we're giving them sight. Trapped in the world of darkness, but we're bringing them light. You may even find yourself in a different life. A lot of us have, and honestly, that's perfectly fine. Because exactly where you are at this moment in life is where you're supposed to be. be at this moment in time. It's all by design, the patriots are holding the line. They must have lost theirs, thinking they're controlling our minds. So many trapped in mental prisons don't know they're confined. They're just slaves in the system till the roles are assigned. That's sad, the good news is that we're waking them up. They have monopolies on minds, but we're breaking them up. Everything you thought was news, they were making it up. When we ascend, all the tyrants won't be making the cut. Let them all burn in the hellscape they create. We the people already mapped out our escape. We hold each other by the hand as we all elevate and go to a different place. They can never get chased. When I look into the future, I can see that it's bright. When this history is written, they will see that we're right. We formed our own community and the circle is tight, but I expand the circle with every word that I write. The pen is sharper than the sword when you wield it with might. Why do you think they try to kick us off all the sights? These people hate America, punish us out of spite. We are the beacons of hope in the darkness of night. So let's go, strap in, yeah, get ready for the ride. Watch the water, we're witnessing the turning of the tide. Feel the passion and the fire that you got burning inside. Take the narrative they're feeding you and turn it to the side. We're alerted to the lies, replacing with the truth. We know the plan they devised, they're invading the youth. Now we're only incentivized to start raising our boots. These demons all weaponized. Now we're raising our troops. Now we're raising the roof and sounding the alarm. Remember that it's always darkest before the dawn. Life is a game of chess. They want to use you as a pawn. You're only useful until you're not useful, then you're gone. But not us, we're on the right team where we belong. Everybody is invited, so come follow along. We refuse to say things are right knowing they're wrong. Adam Nero, take the mic and take flight, cause it's on.
And now, straight from the Steel City, it's your host, 412 Adel Nero.
All right, let's get this Wednesday broadcast officially underway. Thank you guys so much for being here for another installment of Deplorable Discussions. It is Wednesday, December 18th, 2024. My name is Adel Nero, and riding shotgun with me today is my very good friend, Drunk Pinata. Pinata, happy Wednesday, sir. How's your day going so far?
Better than anyone on the left.
Oh, yeah?
I can at least know that.
Yeah, what are they struggling with today? Same as always?
It's just, I mean, it's a struggle every day for these people. I mean, their entire existence is just a struggle.
My dad is white. And my dad is white. And I can't do anything about that.
Yeah.
There's nothing I can do.
Sorry, I'm going to fucking cry because
I can't do anything about that.
I hate that you had to go through that.
Thank you.
As somebody of white experience,
thank you.
I know how bad it can be.
Thank you. But my mom is full on Asian. Like full.
Thank you. That's beautiful.
So
when my dad died, I cheered because I said that's one less white man.
Yeah.
That's how progressive I am.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I like talk about ally.
I said, get him out of here.
Get him out of here.
I said, take him away, Satan.
And that's kind of how it works, right? It's like if one white person dies and you say that, like a person of color kind of comes into the world.
Yeah. A diverse story gets elevated.
It's kind of like a spiritual experience.
I'm hoping.
Wow.
Yeah. And then that results in this stuff like this.
Mega. The drones. Those drones are for you. Those drones are because they know that there's a good possibility there might be some civil unrest. And the people that will be unrest would be you. So those drones are up there for you because they know how crazy you are and they have to make sure that you guys don't do anything when he isn't inaugurated. All right? Have a great day.
Wow. I don't know which one was crazier, the first one or the second one. Like just two different kinds of mental illness and just unhinged nonsense, psychobabble. My goodness.
Yeah, it's there's no shortage.
That's who owns the political left right now. It's people like that. Like that's who they cater to. That's who they message towards. That's literally who's captured that entire side of the aisle. That's why you have the mandate that you have. People are so fed up with it, and they don't know how to come back towards the middle of the pack. They don't know how to re-ingratiate themselves with moderate America while not completely drawing the wrath of the mentally ill destroyed people that they've created on the other side that have now held them hostage. It's kind of funny the way it's all worked out, but those very people, they're true believers, are what will ultimately be the death of the ideology altogether. Because
would you agree with me if I said that these people are children? They have been reduced to the mental state of children. Yet it'd be like, you're like, oh, if I knew what I knew when I was a kid, if I knew what I knew in my 20s and I knew as a kid, like as far as intellect, not like other experiences, but just intellect. Would you do anything different? Would you be different? And I feel like that these people have been reduced back to practically infancy of being able to discern anything, and that everything is given to them, force fed like a baby. So much so these people are actually swaddling themselves.
before you play that, I mean, you remember the James O'Keefe video, right? Like where they had the MSNBC writer and producer talking about just that. He's like, yeah, we're making our viewers dumber. We're turning them into emotional puddles, essentially. It's
Yeah.
not good, but at least we're not turning them into Nazis like Fox News or whatever he said. But they know exactly what they're doing. Go ahead, you play it now.
Fortunately, it was delayed, so I gave my husband my body compression sock because he needed it more than I did. He swaddled himself in the adult-sized swaddlini, and the compression did its job and went right to work at calming his central nervous system.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What
It's
is this account, Dr. Jeb? Is this like the
Dr.
lib?
Jebber for Shay. It's a parody account.
Okay, kind of like libs of TikTok, it seems like.
Yeah, it's kind of like one of these people that kind of like collects all this stuff, and so it's a good one to follow. The other one we've been looking at is Shell Shock. This is another person that puts a lot of compilation, or or just finds these videos on TikTok and other places, and it has been a repository for me. So
yeah, that's good stuff, man. I'll have to start following those accounts. I do feel bad for a lot of those people, but man, it's hard not to.
I go based on smugness.
Yeah.
If they're like, I know exactly what's going on type of mentality, I'm like, I have no sympathy. But people that are caught up in the emotional part, I'm like, I get why you're caught up, but I don't know. It's hard. When we had this conversation a lot, even with T and Homesteader, right? It was like, when do you stop giving a fuck about these people and or even reaching out? Like, when do you stop? Like, where is the cutoff? And I think over time we've seen that most people are getting it. Most people are seeing the craziness. And one thing that they had to admit now, and they're finally admitting, Ari Melber today, we just covered a piece. They finally understand that they're not controlling the culture.
Yeah, I mean,
or at least so it was been brought up. It's the first time I've seen them bring up the fact that they didn't control the culture.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's got to be painfully obvious to them at this point, you would think, just considering the election, the death of DEI that you see in so many organizations and things like that. You see a return of actual comedy and like, people not being afraid of their own shadow, and certain spaces that were getting kind of stuffy there for a minute. Even Disney, I had this article here. I didn't know where I was gonna use it today, but I saw this. I might bring this up again with Craig Mason when he joins. To see, don't know where the conversation is going to go, but Disney axes transgender storyline from Pixar's Win or Lose animated series, claim they are respecting parents' wishes. So when you have Disney axing transgender storylines from their content, I think that's a pretty good sign that the culture is shifting away from this insanity, this woke gender ideology, and or just in general these woke far left ideologies. That to me says everything, because it doesn't get any more like ideologue than Disney was. I mean, they were pushing that shit in everything they created. It's all been failing at the box office, failing to gain any traction, and well, I guess when it's all said and done, these people are businessmen before they are social justice warriors. They'll push the agenda as long as they think it's culturally acceptable and relevant and profitable, but it appears that the second that they realize people are rejecting it, they no longer want to align themselves with it either. So
Well, you know what happened?
what's that?
They pushed it into acceptance or to the point where people felt like they didn't care what people thought, right? So they go out and they look absolutely ridiculous. But they've gone out and they've basically made it more visible to the point where people are saying, I don't want any fucking part of that. I thought you guys were talking about your own bedrooms and
Yep.
behind closed doors in your own house, and you weren't doing shit like this.
Summer has always been one of my favorite seasons. Grazing in a nearby meadow near the stream.
What?
Yeah. Yep. Yes. All that. Yep. Yeah. That went out into the public and with no shame, and people are rejecting it.
Go figure. Oh my God. I'm so glad that this nightmare is coming towards the end, and we're about to enter back into hopefully an era of sanity and common sense, um, and just be done with all this. I don't know how much more of it we could take as a society before we just completely implode. All right, let's take care of our sponsor. We'll jump into some things here. All right, Earth Garden Botanicals is our sponsor today, as they are every day, and they are an amazing company run by our friend Jolene up in Montana. Wellness products that are all the ingredients are locally and organically sourced, giving you guys amazing value with amazing top-notch products. CBD oils are incredible. They taste great. My favorite flavors are the orange ginger bergamot and the huckleberry, but there's many others that are all very good as well. Cherry, cinnamon bliss, peppermint, you name it. There's CBD oil for pets, the arnica salve, the topical cream with CBD infused or without, depending on your preference. Hook up the elderberry tonic if you want to give your immune system a boost. The fire cider to clear your sinuses. There's also the white pineal extract and the sunshine and pineal tea, which is really good for detoxing. Got your colloidal silver, critter juice, all kind of great stuff. Promo code 412 for 24% off right now. It's an amazing discount, way better than the normal 10% off, and that's through January 20th. So you have until inauguration day to load up on these products or to try them if you've never tried them before with that incredible discount. Because on January 20th or January 21st, I guess, this discount goes back down to 10%. So promo code 412, 24% off, earthgardenbotanicals.com. Do not miss out on this incredible opportunity to load up a cart of some amazing products there. So big thank you as always to you guys out there who support Jolene and all of our sponsors, but Jolene is pretty much the main one right now. So I really appreciate you guys who keep her around by continuing to check out the website and check out the products as well. Thank you to Russian Bot for the cookie. Says, can we just pretend Pinata isn't muted today? That would be great. Thanks. You and Pinata, man, we need to get you guys in one of those like conflict resolution rooms and have you all work it out. Thank you, Russian Bot, though, for the cookie. CB Joey, cheers. Says, happy hump day, fam. Thank you so much for the can, dude. I hope you're well. Dong Chaser, thank you for the cookie. Victoria, thank you for the can. Matt1776 is Adel looking fresh to death today. What's the occasion, sir? Appreciate that. Now, I had my office holiday party for work today, so I was on campus for much of the day. So had to look presentable to be put in front of everybody that I only see like once or twice a year. So there you go. But thank you for that, Matt, for the cookie. And Filtered Dog one with a can. It looks like a tweet about the spending bill, the continuing resolution. If I'm reading this correct, it might be that this bill is dead. We'll get to it, but thank you, Filter Dog, for the update. That's great news. If that's all accurate and on point, if we really have killed this spending bill in the crib, that would be amazing because there's a lot of crap stuck in there that we're going to talk about here today. and get into in some detail. But I had some other things I wanted to cover first. But thank you guys for the early gold pill support. I do appreciate it. Please hit that red pill button if you're watching on pill.net. Repost the show, share the link. Wherever you're watching, please share the link. If you're on Rumble, we always appreciate it when you hit that thumbs up button. And if you want to share that link around as well. And to our fam over on Twitter, tuning in over there, please repost the show on that platform. It's very, very helpful as well when it comes to getting the word out and hoping to find some new viewers to stumble on in here and become part of our little community. But yeah, let's get things rolling here. And I want to start today with this from Matt Gaetz. Excuse me one second, guys. Sorry about that. So I guess the House just voted to release his ethics report, and he put out a tweet in response to this development. So I wanted to read it, and then we'll talk about it a little bit here. So Matt Gaetz tweeted this out earlier. Says the Biden-Garland DOJ spent years reviewing allegations that I committed various crimes. I was charged with nothing, fully exonerated, not even a campaign finance violation, and the people investigating hated me. Then the very witness DOJ deemed not credible were assembled by House Ethics to repeat their claims, absent any cross-examination or challenge from me or my attorneys. I have no chance to ever confront any accusers. I've never been charged. I've never been sued. Instead, House Ethics will reportedly post a report online that I have no opportunity to debate or rebut as former member of the body. In my single days, I often sent funds to women I dated, even some I never dated, but who asked. I dated several of these women for years. I never had sexual contact with someone under 18. Any claim that I have would be destroyed in court, which is why no such claim was ever made in court. My 30s were an era of working very hard and playing hard too. It's embarrassing, though not criminal, that I probably partied, womanized, drank and smoked more than I should have earlier in life. I live a different life now, but at least I didn't vote for continuing resolutions that fuck over the country. So Matt Gaetz getting out ahead of some things, and admitting that he didn't live the most righteous or clean life in his 30s. Many of us do not, but apparently some things are going to come out about him that he's trying to get ahead of, and like he said, maybe embarrassing things, but nothing criminal. And this is just spiteful retaliation for him, for what he did to Kevin McCarthy, vacating the chair and ending his speakership shortly after it began. Definitely had to be extremely embarrassing for Kevin McCarthy to be ousted like he was. And Matt Gaetz led that charge, and I'm thankful he did. It ended Kevin McCarthy's career. It ended Kevin McCarthy's stint as House leader for the Republican Party. Not that Mike Johnson has been any better or significantly better. It was still a shot across the bow of the establishment that they're not completely untouchable. And I thought that was important. That was very important message to be sent. So this is clearly a revenge plot against Matt Gaetz, and we'll see these attacks continue. From people that were friendly to Kevin McCarthy. Now, he also posted this. He says, someone suggested the following plan to me. 1, show up on 1/3/2025 to Congress, participate in speaker election. He says, I was elected to the 119th Congress after all. Take the oath, file a privilege motion to expose every Me Too settlement paid using public funds, even of former members. And if you guys remember back in, I want to say it was maybe late 2017, sometime that 2017, 2018 period, I think I want to say it was Mike Cernovich who uncovered an actual list or a spreadsheet of a slush fund basically put together for members of Congress to pay hush money to people that they've sexually abused or harassed or assaulted or whatever it might be. This was a big story. I believe one guy, John Conyers, I believe it was, actually resigned over it. He kind of was the fall guy for a lot of it, but we know that the fund was well over into the tens of millions of dollars. I don't remember the exact amount, but it was an obscene.
It was like $18 million, something like that.
Yeah, so it was a large amount of your tax dollars being used by the people that are supposedly representing you to pay off victims of their depravity.
Their
Uh,
depravity.
that's pretty fucked up, really. So
I'm,
Matt Gaetz,
I'm pretty sure it was 2017 because 2018 was way too much Mueller stuff going on.
I think you're right.
I think it,
Go ahead. Do you have more?
June or July 2017.
Yeah, that makes sense. That would make sense. I remember when it broke. I remember when the story broke. I remember where I was. I don't remember exactly when it was, but I remember sitting in my living room at my old house watching it on YouTube on the TV. Mike Cernovich reporting on it. But anyway, Matt Gaetz is saying maybe I should go get sworn in. I don't know what the rules are there and what flexibility he has, but I like the idea. Go in there, be part of the House vote or the vote for Speaker of the House, and then yeah, use your position to expose and burn it down a little bit on your way out the door. I think that's totally fair, especially the way you've been treated by some of these people. Many of them are throwing stones in a glass house here, and I think all is fair game here. I don't know if he'll actually do this or what ability he'll actually have to do this, but if this is something that procedurally he can get done, I think that not only should he do it, but he would be derelict of duty to not do it. In fact, I look at every other, anti-establishment member of the House and ask you, why does Matt Gaetz have to alter his plans to come back and even threaten this? Why isn't Anna Paulina Luna or Thomas Massey or Byron Donalds or Jim Jordan or you name your favorite, firebrand Republican? Why aren't any of them, using a privilege motion to unseal this list and let the American people see who the true grifters and degenerates are within Congress? I think that somebody should be doing this. Matt Gaetz, I guess, would be in a unique position, being that he doesn't care to stick around that body anymore. Could do it and kind of walk out the door and kind of clean his hands of it all. Whereas those other people I mentioned would still have to live in that environment, which they kind of turned into a bit chaotic. But either way, we the people, the American people, should be able to see who's guilty of these things. Completely unacceptable that a slush fund would even exist of your taxpayer money to pay off victims of this kind of behavior. And they want to make Matt Gaetz look like he's the bad guy. That's what's crazy. Absolutely crazy.
Well, they treat allegations as truth. So even if some of the stuff that they paid to cover up didn't actually happen, well, I mean, it's their rules. If there was an accusation, it must have happened.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's believe all women, right?
It's the type of argumentation that I've seen. So today I was covering a Jesse Dolliver video where he was saying that just how ridiculous it was that George Stephanopoulos was sued for defamation, and I'm like, he literally said the jury said that he did that was what the charge was, and that's not the case. And he said it over and over, so much so that it was like it was a back and forth with Nancy Mace, as you know, and so. But he has no problem with Donald Trump being sued for defamation by E. Jean Carroll for refuting something that she claimed. Not that there was a claim and then that's the defamation, but the refutation of a claim is somehow defamation. And they believe that. So, but they won't actually see the thing that's right in front of them. It's insane. The level of brainwashing. I keep coming back to that. It's brainwashing. These people are gone. They're mentally captured.
Yeah, I mean, it's been so it's been so beaten into them that it's like almost like a self-defense mechanism. Like the mental gymnastics have become like a self-defense mechanism to like maintain this persona that they now identify with, of being opposed to certain things or hating Donald Trump or whatever it is, whatever emotional trigger that is they latch onto.
Yeah. Well,
But
we saw it yesterday with the Abby Phillips clip, right? She retreats it back into it. It has to be that no one was charged in that manner because those FBI confidential human sources weren't charged, so therefore no one was charged in that way.
Oh yeah, about the people going into the Capitol on January. No one was charged just for going into the Capitol. That was such a ridiculous assertion.
Yeah, but see what I'm saying? She had to back up and think, well, of course they weren't charged. They shouldn't be charged, and no one else was charged. That in her mind, she has to rationalize it because, like you're saying, otherwise it would challenge what her programming.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, you're right. It's amazing what they're capable of, through this like psychological warfare on the American people, how effectively they've gotten so many to just shut their brains off and accept and buy into just ridiculous things. It's wild to think about. Thank God most people are really starting to come around on these things and see them for what they really are. But there are still a tremendous amount of completely captured, brainwashed people out there. I don't know what exactly it's going to take to reach them. But hopefully in time, the more and more will hit that critical mass of people waking up to where they become fewer and further in between. CK Whitehorse, thank you for the cookie. I appreciate that. All right, let me let's do this. Let's do this latest video from James O'Keefe. So I don't think we'll be able to fit this in the second half. And we have Craig Mason, and I wanted to cover this because I thought I haven't had a chance to see it yet, but from what I understand, it's pretty interesting. So let me set this up and get my screen share going here. All right. So it's a shocking undercover video. Joe Biden is dead. National Security Council advisor inside the White House details Biden, quote, can't say a sentence. Henry Appel, a former spy who currently works at the Intelligence Programs Directorate for the NCS, reveals, we're concerned about Trump coming after us. We're trauma bonded. There were a lot of tears. So it seems like it's go a few different directions. Let's take a look.
Joe Biden is like dead. He can't say a sentence. He's like really like progressed in his holding. Everybody recognized. I can't believe it wasn't a bigger scandal there. He'll be dead in a year.
Meet Henry Appel, an advisor for the National Security Council. Henry Appel shared that President Biden had called the NSC White House phone while on a foreign trip looking for NSC advisor Jake Sullivan. Henry told the president that, in fact, Mr. Sullivan was not at the White House, but on the same foreign trip as President Biden.
My boss was on an international trip with him, like in Europe or something. The phone rang in the office, and I was like, "Oh, Mr. President, Henry." He was like, "He's safe there." He's like, "No, he's traveling with you. He's on the same trip that you are."
In another encounter with President Biden, Henry Appel from the National Security Council revealed a phone call exchange. On the call, Biden was asking for NSC advisor Jake Sullivan. Henry told Biden that Sullivan had left the office for the day. Biden stated he would call Sullivan's personal phone. Instead, Biden called the same office 10 seconds later asking for Sullivan again.
A couple weeks ago, I was like the last one in the office. I heard a call from my boss. And so I picked the phone and said, hello, Mr. President, like, it's Henry on Jake's phone. He's left for the day, but I can try to get him on the line for you. And he like asked me some questions, and I was like, I don't know, like, let me get the track him down. So let's call his Secret Service detail. And it's like, I'll try his like unclassified phone. Like then like 10 seconds later, same phone. I picked it up again. I was like, hi again, it's Henry. He was like, is Jake there? And I was like, no, you called the same office.
Henry Appel stated that President Biden did not understand basic words in meetings at the White House.
Another time my boss went into brief him, I heard the talking points. I said like, oh, this is like a novel phenomenon or something. Like it's like it's new, like it hasn't been done before. My boss said it, and my wife was like novel? Like what do you mean, like a book? Like you mean novel? The true meanings of the word novel, like he lost them.
Henry even goes on to say, on his dating profile, his greatest strength is, quote, oversharing on the first date. You can't make this shit up. Henry Appel states that we, referring to his team at the National Security Council, were crying the night of Trump's victory, claiming they are all, quote, trauma bonded.
So everybody's probably like, she's gone right now, right? What?
No, it's like drawn us closer to each other because like we're all going through it together. You know?
Shared trauma.
Yeah.
It's a thing. Trauma bond.
We're trauma bonded, yeah.
Right. What was it like when you guys found out?
There were a lot of tears the next morning. Sure. I gotta find a new job.
Then Henry Appel shares to our undercover journalist, White House officials and national security officials are concerned about the incoming Trump administration coming after them for things they may have done wrong.
We're also like concerned about like them coming after us. They'd like investigate us or whatever.
In recent months, many of our fellow Americans experienced unprecedented natural disasters and damaging conditions. Aid supplies such as chilled emergency. Henry Appel, an advisor at the Intelligence Programs Directorate for the National Security Council. Within the NSC, Henry Appel works within the Intelligence Programs Directorate. According to multiple government websites, the division is responsible for overseeing and coordinating intelligence activities across various U.S. intelligence agencies, providing the NSC with crucial intelligence analysis to inform national security decision-making, essentially acting as the primary point of contact between the intelligence community and the National Security Council on intelligence matters. Henry met our OMG American Swiper on a dating app in Washington, D.C., and spoke more in depth about his NSC job and his background, even mentioning he was a spy at one point in his career.
I started my career working like intelligence. So I work in the Intelligence Programs Directorate of the National Security Council. So we give like all of the senior policymakers like all the secrets. It's like diplomacy and international relations, like war, like war in Ukraine. My office is like super involved with it.
Me too, really? How was that drawing?
Terrible. For a while I thought I was going to be a spy.
You thought what?
I thought I was going to be a spy. And I did that for a little while.
Prior to the undercover meeting, Henry informed our swiper on a text that he had a, quote, lot of tea to spill. Then in the meeting, Henry stated again, here's some tea, and spilled that tea on President Joe Biden's cognitive issues.
Well, here's some tea. Joe Biden is like dead. Not literally. Like he can't say a sentence. He's like really like progressed in his old age. Everybody recognized. I can't believe it wasn't a bigger scandal there.
Henry Appel from the National Security Council revealed a phone call exchange he had with President Joe Biden. On the call, Biden was asking for NSC advisor Jake Sullivan. Henry told Biden that Sullivan had left the office for the day. Biden stated he would call Sullivan's personal phone. Instead, Biden called the same office 10 seconds later asking for Sullivan again. Biden asked, is Jake Sullivan there? To which Henry stated, "No, you called the same office, Mr. President."
A couple weeks ago, I was like the last one in the office. They gave me a call from my boss. And so I picked the phone and said, "Hello, Mr. President, it's Henry on Jake's phone. He's left for the day, but I can try to get it on the line for you." And he asked me some questions, and I was like, "I don't know, let me get the track of it down, so don't call his Secret Service detail." He said, "No, it's okay, I'll call his, because he called me on the classified phone. It's I'll try his unclassified phone, and then he called, and then I was like, "Okay, well, let me know if you have any trouble." And then 10 seconds later, same phone. I picked it up again. I was like, "Hi again, it's Henry." He was like, "Is Jake there?" And I was like, "No, you called the same office. Let me call the Secret Service detail for you." So I did.
In another encounter with President Biden, Henry Appel shared that President Biden had called the NSC White House phone while on a foreign trip looking for NSC advisor Jake Sullivan. Henry told the president that, in fact, Mr. Sullivan was not at the White House, but on the same foreign trip as President Biden.
Another time, my boss was on an international trip with him, Europe or something, and the phone rang in the office, and I picked it up, and I was like, "Oh, Mr. President, Henry." He was like, "Is Jake there?" He's like, "No, he's traveling with you. He's on the same trip that you are." That was a year ago. He'll be dead in a year. Or he'll be out of public life.
Henry Appel from the NSC even stated that President Biden did not understand basic words in meetings at the White House. Here's another experience he had with President Biden. Take a look.
Another time my boss went in.
Is this repeating? I think this is already repeating.
What's that?
Isn't this repeating?
I don't think so. I think they played a little cut at the very beginning of it.
Oh, okay.
And then this is it. But I mean, we could stop it here. I don't think it needs to go any further. It's, more of what we already knew, that they've been hiding Biden's cognitive decline for a lot longer than, just after the debate. That was the true public coming out of how far gone he is. But it's funny to hear it come from someone close to the administration that had regular interactions with him, just how far gone he's been, for how long he's been. I mean, calling and trying to find a guy that's on the trip that he's on already is pretty hilarious. I guess funny in some sense, but it's I guess very scary when you hear about these things, who is running the country, how is Joe Biden even able to hold office in his state? It's anyway, it is what it is. But we love James O'Keefe here. We try to cover as much of his work as we can. This one I just thought was a funny headline, that this guy says that Biden is dead, or he's gonna be dead or out of public life in a year. Anyway, I don't have much else to say about it. Again, nothing super surprising there, but thought it was worth bringing up nonetheless. I guess let's start talking about this monstrosity of a spending bill that they're trying to force down our throats. So Vivek Ramaswamy put out a short 51-second video here. We'll use to kind of kick off the conversation. Here you go.
Congress is about to pass a bill that blows away your taxpayer money, but they made it over 1,500 pages long so you wouldn't read it. I did you a favor. I read it for you.
It's supposed to be about keeping government operations open and providing disaster relief aid to hurricane victims, which I'm sympathetic to. But if you read the bill carefully, it contains pay raises for members of Congress, and I'm not making this up, an expansion of their federal health benefits. It contains all kinds of special interests and pork funding, including opening up a new stadium in Washington, D.C. It renews the Global Engagement Center, which is a key node of the censorship industrial complex. And the worst part is,
They didn't want you to know about any of it, and that's why they made this a last-minute jam job. The reason I'm co-heading Doge is I think we need outsiders to bring actual accountability to Washington, D.C. So feel free to call your congressman and let them know how you feel about it.
Yeah, so this is, I mean, it's typical Washington, D.C., right? This is the uniparty special. They do this to you every year. They refuse to actually debate a real budget. They wait till the last minute, and then they put together one of these omnibus monstrosities in the form of continuing resolution that they drop on most of the legislature's desks. Within 24 hours of the vote, they're typically well over 1,000 pages long. No one can really read through these things. And then they push it up against the holiday break to pressure the members to just go along with it and pass it to keep the government open and the spending to continue. And it's really infuriating about these things is so much of it isn't even budget related. You know, there's all kind of weird little traps and poison pills mixed into these bills that never get any kind of debate or attention on the floor of Congress. They use it to sneak in little things that we would never approve of if they were, trying to put them out there on their own. So we'll go through some of those things. We'll talk about it. We'll get into the issues, within the Republican Party and the leadership that's kind of pushing for this to happen. It really starts with Mike Johnson. Mike Johnson, who replaced Kevin McCarthy as Speaker of the House, has been a massive disappointment. He's talked the big game. He's really prevented nothing. He's accomplished nothing as Speaker. I personally would not endorse him for another term as Speaker. I think we could do better than Mike Johnson, although our majority is so razor thin, and we still do have so many establishment types in the House that it might be difficult to get anybody else in there at this moment. But point is that Mike Johnson has been following around Donald Trump and his inner circle, like the nerdy kid finally invited to the high school party. And he continues to just kind of drop the ball and cuck out to the establishment when it comes to these budget bills. This is now, I don't know how many times he's done this to us. It's not even a surprise at this point, but this is kind of what we deal with anymore in Washington, D.C., and why we so desperately need Doge to go in there and gut the entire apparatus down to the studs. Here's another tweet from Vivek. Says, I wanted to read the full 1,500 plus page bill and speak with key leaders before forming an opinion. Having done that, here's my view. It's full of excessive spending, special interest giveaways, and pork barrel politics. If Congress wants to get serious about government efficiency, they need to vote no. Keeping the government open until March 14th will cost $380 billion by itself, but the true cost of this omnibus continuing resolution is far greater due to new spending. Renewing the farm bill for an extra year, $130 billion. Disaster relief, another $100 billion. Stimulus for farmers, $10 billion. The Francis Scott Key Bridge replacement, $8 billion. The proposal adds at least 65 cents of new spending for every dollar of continued discretionary spending. The legislation will end up hurting many of the people it purports to help. Debt-fueled spending sprees may feel good today, but it's like showering cocaine on an addict. It's not compassion, it's cruelty. Farmers will see more land sold to foreign buyers when taxes inevitably rise to meet our obligations. Our children will be saddled with crippling debt. Interest payments will be the largest item in our national budget. Congress has known about this deadline since they created it in late September. There's no reason why this couldn't have gone through the standard process instead of being rushed to a vote right before Congress wants to go home for the holidays. The urgency is 100% manufactured and designed to avoid serious public debate. The bill could have easily been under 20 pages. Instead, there are dozens of unrelated policy items crammed into the 1,547 pages of this bill. There's no legitimate reason for them to be voted on as a package. deal by a lame duck Congress, 72 pages worth of pandemic preparedness and response policy, renewal of the much criticized Global Engagement Center, a key player in the federal censorship state, 17 different pieces of commerce legislation, paving the way for a new football stadium in D.C., a pay raise for congressmen and senators, and making them eligible for federal employee health benefits. It's indefensible to ram these measures through at the last second without debate. We're grateful for Dodge's warm reception on Capitol Hill. Nearly everyone agrees we need a smaller and more streamlined federal government, but actions speak louder than words. This is an early test. The bill should fail. So that is another little breakdown by Vivek Ramaswamy. He's absolutely right. Again, the way they package these things together and they hold you hostage, the American taxpayer hostage, for the money they want to spend, or the kickbacks they receive, is really egregious. For every dollar they spend on things you actually need, they'll spend 10 more on God knows what that really does not help or affect your day-to-day lives in any way. And it's extortion. They are extorting you like the mafia, and it needs to stop. And fortunately, it does seem like there's some pretty good resistance to this bill. And we'll get into more of that here in a minute. But yeah, the manufactured what do you call it? Urgency, I think is the way to put it, by waiting till this point to avoid public debate. That's really what should piss off every single person that can hear my voice right now, and anyone following along with this at all. Whether you're for bigger government, smaller government, you're a Marxist or an anarchist, a libertarian, a conservative, whatever, you should not accept this form of doing business. You should not accept a 1,500-page bill being dropped in the laps of Congress with less than 24 hours to really review it, understand it, process it, debate it. That's not how you do business. It's not fair to the American taxpayer, the voter, to many even of these members of Congress that do want to go in there and do a good job. They're not given the ability, the time to really get in there and make heads or tails of any of this and make sure that the bill is a representation of the will of the people. They're put up against this obscene deadline. And again, it's all to avoid any kind of real transparency to you, the people underwriting this thing with your hard work and tax dollars. So that's what I find most offensive. Whether the bill was filled with all good stuff that we needed or filled with pork and special interest nonsense, I don't care. I understand Congress is always going to try to rob you blind, but how about actually, don't insult me by bringing this up at the last minute and then acting like you're accomplishing something useful by keeping the government open, by getting this done in short order.
Well, they tell on themselves. They tell on themselves. Every time they do this, they say, we need to be able to have a balanced budget. We need to be able to fund the government and not wait to the last second. They say that every single time. It's lip service. And then once again, they end up right back at the end of the year doing and saying the same exact thing. That, come on, guys, we need to get our stuff together. We should be able to fund the government each quarter. We should have these bills each month. We should have this, when they don't. And then, so they're just derelict of their job.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. It is the same thing over and over again. Here's actually, when you say that, here you go. Here's a little worm himself, Mike Johnson. Take a listen.
But overall, with the CR, as our leader just noted, we have broken the Christmas omni. And I have no intention of going back to that terrible tradition. So there won't be a Christmas omnibus. Somebody asked me in the hallway a little while ago, will there be many buses? We don't want any buses. We're not going to do any buses, okay?
And we got to get through this. So, look, everybody understands the necessity. It is not palatable. This is the sausage-making part of legislation that nobody likes. But we're governing, and we'll pick it up in January and start a brand new day for America.
But overall, with the
So there he is, September 2024, talking about no more omnibuses, no more buses of any kind. We're going to break the Christmas omnibus tradition. Not this year. Not this year, guys. We're not doing it. We're not falling into that trap. And then, sure enough, as the day approaches, here he is, spearheading the effort to jam this down your throat. Your Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, ladies and gentlemen. Here's Mike Johnson on Fox and Friends talking about the bill. Take a listen.
So you've got a bunch of Republicans who are angry at you. They don't like this. And just in a couple of weeks, you're going to stand once again to run for Speaker of the House. And you don't need a bunch of Democrats mad at you. But you know, and this is breaking news you do not know. You know who also does not like this? Elon Musk, the world's richest man, just tweeted this bill should not pass. The only way you're going to be able to pass it now, Mr. Speaker, is with Democrats. If you could, what's your message to Elon Musk?
Well, I was communicating with Elon last night. Elon and Vivek and I are on a text chain together. And I was explaining to them the background of this. And Vivek and I talked last night about almost midnight. And he said, look, I get it. He said, we understand you're in an impossible position. Everybody knows that. Remember, guys, we still have just a razor thin margin of Republicans. So any bill has to have Democrat votes. They understand the situation. They said, it's not directed to you, Mr. Speaker, but we don't like the spending. I said, guess what, fellas? I don't either. We got to get this done because here's the key. By doing this, we are clearing the decks and we are setting up for Trump to come in roaring back with the America First agenda. That's what we're going to run with gusto beginning January 3rd when we start the new Congress, when Republicans, again, are in control. And all of our fiscal conservative friends, I'm one of them, will be able to finally do the things that we've been wanting to do for the last couple of years. Right now, Democrats still control the pens, and that's the problem. So we got to get this thing done so we don't have the shutdown, so we get the short-term funding measure, and we get to March where we can put our...
So this is what I don't understand. Why didn't you debate each appropriation bill on its own like you're supposed to? Like you promised the American people that you would. Why can't you shut down the government? It's not going to hurt anything. All the essential, the tasks of the government continue during a shutdown. There's nothing wrong with that. Shut it down. Wait for the new Congress. Wait for Donald Trump to get in there, and deal with a deal from a position of strength. This isn't like nobody to say that this is somehow clearing the deck and allowing Donald Trump's agenda to go through is nonsense. This bill is stuffed with little poison pills and things that's going to actually make Donald Trump's agenda far harder to execute. There's a lot of little things in here, and we've already mentioned some of them with the tweets that I've that we've read from Vivek, and we'll get into some of those things some more here in the second half of the show. But this farce of an idea that we have to keep the government open. We can't use any of our leverage to bring some of this spending down. Like we just have to kowtow to the will of the Democrats because our majority is too thin is absolute nonsense. Absolute nonsense. You could stick to your guns, force a government shutdown, and wait them out. But they can't wait to spend this money. This has always been the plan. This has always been the plan, is to shove it down your throat in the final days of the year when you won't have a chance to really review it or scrutinize it. It's a pathetic, corrupt, tired old tradition that continues here in 2024. Hopefully this will be the last one, but I'm not going to hold my breath because we've said this so many times now, and every time that we see this, and we really hope that it's the last time, it comes around again the next year, the next 3 months or whatever it is, and we're stuck staring at the same stack of paper with the same pile of nonsense in it. But it's just that's the way of Washington, D.C., and why so many people voted for Donald J. Trump to come in and reform and bring this beast to heel a little bit. All right, let's go ahead and take a break. On the other side of the break, we're going to welcome in our good friend Craig Mason of Reasonable TV. Really looking forward to having Craig on. Lots to talk about with him. That'll be in the 5 o'clock hour. The link to join us for hour number 2 is in the Rumble description underneath the stream, and I'm throwing it in the Rumble chat and over on DLive as well, as always, or you could simply type in pilled.net to your browser and find us over there at 412 Productions. And wow, I didn't even notice this, so I apologize, but 10 till 2 just donated some Ninja Guineas and some diamonds over there on DLive. I appreciate the support. 10 till 2. It's been a while since I've seen all that kind of stuff showing up over on DLive. So thank you so much for popping in and hooking us up a little bit. But yeah, we are going to go exclusively to pill.net for the second hour. So I'm going to play a quick video on the other side. We'll shut down the other platforms, read your gold pills, and welcome on Craig Mason from Reasonable TV. We'll be right back.
Pill.net is proud to host 412 Productions, exclusively on the true home of free speech. To continue watching the show, we are here to help you over to Pilled. If you're new to the platform, just click on the welcome link provided. It will then automatically walk you through signing up for your free account. If you already have a Pill.net account, follow the link provided directing you straight to 412 Productions channel. We are excited to have you join the Pilled family. And if you have any questions at all, please email support@pill.net. Enjoy the rest of 412 Productions on pill.net. Free speech lives here.
All right, we are back. As always, a big thank you to those of you who have found your way over to pill.net for hour number 2 of the show. Appreciate you guys who take the time to come over and do that. Those of you that haven't tried it yet, I hope that you will. It's free to join. It's an awesome platform with great features, a great community. And the best part is it is truly built for free speech. No big tech infrastructure or big corporate influence. No one that can really leverage the service against you and your ability to express yourself freely. Over on pill.net. Our channel is 412 Productions, and those links are available to you in the Rumble description. I put it on the Rumble live chat and over on DLive as well. So I hope to see you guys come over and hang out with us for the 5 o'clock hour and our conversation with Craig Mason here, which will be starting in just a few minutes. If not, join me tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern time for Taking It Back with Frank and Zach. I plan on doing the show with those guys, and then overtime afterwards. Friday we've got M3 Methods to Madness, and then most likely a Saturday morning chat as well at 10 a.m. And then Monday next week we'll have the No Prisoners podcast joining us. We'll have 45-1 Actual, Kevin, Feisty, the whole fam over, so that'll be awesome way to kick off and maybe end next week, because the 24th, 5th, and 6th, 24th, 25th, and 26th, I'll 100% be off. I'm 50-50 for the 27th or 28th. So we may only have one show next week on Monday, the 23rd. So that's the plan here going forward from my end. So just want to put that all out there. So jump on over to Pilled to keep hanging out today. Otherwise, we'll catch you guys on Taking It Back tomorrow at 4 p.m.